Hey guys, I've beaten Legend of Grimrock 2 the other day, and it's great. It is an amazing game, much like the first one. The thing that amazes me about both Grimrock games actually is how tight and polished they are. Nothing feels out of place or just there for the sake of being there. Everything has its own place and purpose that makes sense, and considering the stories of both games, The Perfect Prison in the first one and The Island of Trials in the second, if they were anything less than perfect, the game would have lost authenticity from the storytelling perspective, and it's beautiful how design and story connect on this level. Few games can actually achieve that. The island in Grimrock 2 that you basically crash into is huge, and what's interesting, unlike Grimrock 1 where you just go from level to level, Grimrock 2 always has several areas for you to explore, so if you can't figure out one place, you can just say fuck it, I'm done, and go somewhere else. That takes a whole new turn considering there are two endings in the game, at least I have found only two. Being a group of outlaws, you can simply set a goal of leaving the island and never coming back to it, that allows you to skip about 1/4 of the game entirely and not deal with the puzzles you don't like. Or you can go one step further and reach enlightenment on your journey, finding out the true secret behind the island. Both ways are legit and give you an opportunity to roleplay, plus it has that Castlevania Symphony of the Night vibe to it, that I personally adore. Actually, roleplaying is another thing I like in Grimrock so much. I don't even know why, but overcoming the trials together with the characters makes you closer to them. They start to develop personalities, communicate between each other, act in battle like they're a party of characters and not just a cube that occupies some space and has swords sticking out of it. Maybe I'm going insane, but whenever a battle started, it wasn't just pressing buttons in a particular order. It was Ify, the battle-worn Minotaur, swinging his mighty axe, with Xazarka Batfall, the warrior princess, at his side, dual-wielding swords and chopping enemies to pieces. That weird freaking insectoid Condor summoning fire out of thin air, and Skaven Alranzard shooting his giant cannon and throwing bombs all over the place. I guess the fact that combat is fast, strategical and requires you to multitask big time helps to get immersed into it quite a bit, but that old school feeling of getting blank characters that you can make anything out of is just amazing. Talking about old school, the reason why Grimrock is so good is that it doesn't blindly copy old school, but it elevates it onto a new level of quality, taking what's good from the old and adding years of innovation to it. That gives the game a sense of flow, so to speak. The interface, the menus, the combat, all designed in such a way they, even though being old school, don't get in the way of fun, but even enhance it. Which is not a simple thing to do, considering that in larger battles you always have to do and to think of multiple things at once, that forces you to make fast decisions that can either kill you or let you live another day. All of that during the constant movement that also requires great spatial awareness. And with all that said, it never feels unfair. If you die in Grimrock, it is because you suck, simple as that. If you're good enough, it is totally possible to kill even the mightiest foes without leveling up at all. It is hard, but I'm totally sure it's possible. Despite how much I like the game, I have to admit that some of the puzzles are just dumb. Well, there are a lot of puzzles in the game, and most of them are good, so I can excuse a dozen of them being kinda shit, but listening to clicking noises puzzles are annoying. Puzzles that don't give you any hints are sometimes infuriating. Or maybe I'm just dumb. Then the timing puzzles are the worst. Some of the puzzles are simply insane, in a good kind of way, but still, you know. Opening the cemetery gates was an adventure just out on itself for me, even though the solution was always in my bag. Getting into the middle of Slit Island was... let's just say, at some point I just drowned all my party in a lake. However, most of the puzzles are good and make you feel smart when you solve them, cause that is what really counts. Overall, if you like RPGs, Legend of Grimrock is a must-have. It is a very good game with few drawbacks. By the way, the music in the game is just wonderful. Right off the title screen you feel like you're on an adventure. I even sit for the entire end credits just listening to the music, and the second after they finished I was on Skype telling people how good the game is. The most interesting thing, the music is nothing special, but it gets you really pumped for exciting fantasy. But now, when my journey ended, I can only wait and hope for Grimrock 3. I've been thinking about it actually, and I still cannot decide for sure if I want Grimrock to be anything more than a dungeon crawler. If the devs decide to make Grimrock 3 in the first place, I don't think it's even possible to make a step up from Grimrock 2 in terms of dungeon crawling. So, the next logical step would be making a full-on RPG within the world and same game mechanics, but would it benefit or hurt the whole idea of Grimrock? I don't know. I guess we just wait and see, cause there are a lot of talented people behind the game and I'm sure they will find the way. Thanks for watching guys, the name is GrrrVahrrr and I shall see you from within my next video.